What is up, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we will be doing my first NBA video with NBA 2021 to 2022 predictions. This shall be fun. I'm going to be uploading a lot of content today because I'm leaving for California for fall break. I got a little sneak peek at the playoffs there, but yeah, let's get into what I think the records will be. Let's just explain the West first. If you want my full breakdown, I'm going to be doing an NBA power rankings on this, so it'll break down all these teams in a lot more depth analysis. Anyway, number 1, Utah. Number 2 goes into the Phoenix Suns. Number 3, the Clippers. Number 4, the Nuggets. Number 5, the Lakers. Number 6, the Trailblazers. Number 7, Dallas. Number 8, Memphis. So none of these teams really changed. So I think it'll be very similar to last year, except for that big Dallas 7th seed flipping with the Lakers. And then Memphis 8, it was very close between Warriors and Memphis. We're not going to be doing the play-in tournament on this. This doesn't have that feature. But yeah, Memphis slides in at number 8 to play the Utah Jazz as they did last year. Anyway, let's explain some of these bottom teams. Spurs, I think, get in the play-in tournament at number 10. The Kings at number 11. Pelicans at number 12. Minnesota number 13. OKC 14. Houston 15. Now in the Eastern Conference here, we got Brooklyn at number 1, even with Kyrie Irving. We all know the situation, but I think he'll be able to return by the end of this year. He'll give in and play because he wants to play basketball. But anyway, number 2, the Bucks. Number 3, the 76ers. Surprising, honestly, to me that from my predictions they got this high. Wasn't expecting that. Sorry. But number 4, the Hawks. Number 5, the Knicks. Number 6, Miami. Number 7, Chicago. Number 8, Boston. Moving on to the bottom. Washington will punch their ticket into the play-in, as well as Indiana, barely beating out all these 3 teams are tied. Those were very difficult for me to choose from, but that's how it rolled. But number 12, Toronto. Number 13, Cleveland. Number 14, Orlando. Then number 15, Detroit. So anyway, let's get into the playoff predictions again. Check out my NBA power rankings, which I'll be announcing sometime later today, if you want more in-depth analysis on these teams. Anyway, let's get into the playoff predictions, starting it with the Jazz against Memphis. Series last year, same series, went to 4-1. I think that this is going to be similar. Utah wins all 2. John Morant will get a win, but this will go into 5 games, and Utah will be able to beat Memphis, the 8th seed, which is clearly the worst. That 8th spot is clearly the worst, and a lot of people are overhyping Golden State. I think they'll have a very similar season next year. I think Klay Thompson won't have a very good season after coming off like 2 big injuries. Moving on, LA against Denver. This is a great series. LeBron James, can he bring this team to a victory? I think that this team, assuming there's not nearly as much injuries, is better than last year, but this is a lot of veterans. Russell Westbrook's overrated. He's not going to do anything for this playoffs. I don't know how this team's going to gel. Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, I think, get game 1. LeBron James will probably bounce back in game 2 and game 3. I think the Nuggets will be able to win in game 4. I'm going to go Nuggets in game 5 to take a 3-2 lead. So now LeBron James in the same situation as he was last year. And I'm going to go with a hot pick here. I think that the Lakers, just with Russell Westbrook, is going to have a very down year. And a lot of people are probably going to get mad at me in the comments, but I think that Russell Westbrook is not going to fit in with this team. And I think that trade was just dumb of them to do. Bad bench. Playoff time might be able to do better. But yeah, I think they'll lose and call it an upset. Call it whatever you want. I think they lose in that one. Okay, so moving on to the Clippers against the Portland at Clippers in this game. 3 versus 6 matchup. We could have saw this matchup last year. Can Damian Lillard bring this team to upset the Clippers? I think that the Portland Trailblazers have a big game 1 and a big game 2. I think Portland takes a shocking 2-0 lead. We see this Portland can start out very solid in playoff series, even if they're on the road. I think this happens now, and again, Clippers are going to be in the situation as they were last year. But I think that Kawhi Leonard will bounce back in game 3 if it'll load. It's having a difficult time. Sorry, there you go. Okay, Clippers. Yeah, I think the Clippers will be able to bounce back in game 3. Will they bounce back in game 4? Yeah, I think they will. The Clippers, Kawhi Leonard did this last year, even out the series 2-2. And then I think, they go on a killing streak over Portland, win game 5, win game 6. So 4 in a row for the Clippers over the Trailblazers. I think that will happen, and Clippers will move on to the next round. This is an interesting one. Phoenix, Dallas in this game. Will Phoenix have the same playoff success as last year? We see Dallas is in a situation they were 2 years ago as a 7 seed trying to upset Luka Doncic. Game 1, a lot of upsets in game 1 I have predicted here. But I'm going to go with Dallas. Then I'm going to go with Phoenix in this one. Next up, I'm going to go with Dallas. And then Phoenix or Dallas, which one? In game 4, that's interesting, but I will go with Phoenix in that one. So I think the series will be tied up even 4-4. Dallas, I think, starts out to a 3-2 series lead, and then Phoenix bounces back on the road. So now we got a 3-3 season. Will that Phoenix's season get cut short? I think Luka Doncic's had enough of losing the first round, and Dallas upsets the Phoenix Suns. Yes, it may be a crazy prediction, but I think Dallas moves on to the next round. Just the wrong opponent in the first round for Phoenix to play, and now getting a rematch against the Clippers. And then now moving on to the next round, Brooklyn against Boston. Here in the East, in this series, it's pretty obvious to me who is going to win. I'm going to go with Brooklyn with a clean sweep over Boston. Not a lot to talk about. Rematch from last year. Atlanta and New York. We saw New York play good last year. I think that they get the number 5 seed, flipping these two. But Atlanta, Trae Young will be able to get the first 2 games. Will New York be able to bounce back in game 3? No, I think they go down 3-0 in this series. I think that Julius Randle and New York will get at least 1 win, but the same, win for Atlanta will happen again. 4-1 for Atlanta. Moving on to Philadelphia against Miami. Philadelphia, we obviously know what happened last year to Miami and Philadelphia, just 2 disappointing starts in the playoffs. I think Philadelphia will win game 1. Miami will bounce back in game 2. Then at home for Miami, I'm going to go with Philly, then Miami, of course. I'm going to go with Miami in game 5, so that gives Miami a 3-2 lead. And I'm going to, just like the Denver and other series, I see Miami winning this one 4-2. I think that Miami is going to bounce back after a rough playoff appearance. And Philly, let's just be honest, this team Yeah, this is just a regular season team, let's be honest. So, moving on to the next series, we have a lot of upsets so far. We have another one with Milwaukee and the Bulls. Bulls as a 7th seed. I honestly thought they'd be higher with me predicting these, but that's where they ended up. So, battling out against the Bucks, not a team you want to play in the first round. But early on, I think the Bucks will be able to win games 1 and 2. Bulls, I think, bounce back in game 3, but Bucks will win game 4. So Bucks get off to a 3-1 start. But the Bulls, I think this is a good team. They're not going to go away that early. I think a game 5 on the road, they win. But Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks are just too good. I think the series goes into 6. So let's move on to the semi-finals now. If it'll load. Again, the page is unresponsive. Sorry, guys. Sit tight, guys. Sorry about this. Really the worst time for this to happen. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, now I think it's starting to work up again. All right, so moving on to the conference semis. Here we have Utah, Denver. That's one series. We got the Clippers, surprisingly the 7-seed Mavericks move on. Brooklyn against Atlanta in that round, and then Milwaukee against Miami. So starting out in this series, we're between the Jazz and Denver, a rematch from the 3-1 comeback from Denver. So yeah, we've seen it from in the past. Utah good at starting out series, especially being at home. They'll be able to win the first 2 games in that game. We obviously have seen it before. Moving on to game 3, Denver will be able to win those 2. So I think this series goes evened up. Jazz take game 5. Is this a game 7 bound? Yes, it is. Denver. So we're back into a game 7 scenario between these two teams. Do we have a 4 seed moving on to the finals to potentially play a 7? That would be crazy. I don't think it happens. I think that the Jazz win that one. Come win all home games here. But yeah, Utah, I think, will be able to bounce back after losing to the Denver Nuggets in the previous few years. Let's move on to the Clippers against Dallas, another rematch game. And we've had a lot of rematch series this year. Will Dallas be able to upset? I think that Dallas wins game 1, but then Clippers bounce back on their home turf in game 3. Game 3 and 4, Clippers, I think game 3 goes to them, and then game 4 goes to them. So I think the Clippers start out with a 3-1 lead. Does Luka Doncic have the capability to bring this team to a game 7 win? Not against Kawhi. I think the Clippers win, and yeah, they move on. Oops. And yeah, by the way, I do think that Kawhi Leonard will be back by this time at number 3 to put this team at the 3 seed. Anyway, Brooklyn against Atlanta. I'm going to go with this should be another easy one for Brooklyn. So yeah, I think that Brooklyn gets the first two games. And then Atlanta. Will Atlanta be able to win Brooklyn right here? One game Trae Young will probably be able to win. I'm going to actually say Brooklyn has a 3-0 lead, but then Atlanta bounces back. But this is a 4-1 series for me. So Brooklyn wins that. Moving on to Milwaukee against Miami. We obviously saw the sweep last year. Maybe there's some bad blood, but I think that between these two in this game, but I think that Milwaukee wins the first two. Miami, I think, could bounce back, win game 3 and game 4. So this is not a sweep scenario quite yet. But yeah, I just can't see Miami going to 7 though right here. I think that the series goes to 6. So anyway, let's move on to the conference finals game. 2 conference semi rematches. We had two good series, especially this series. This was a very good series, Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Let's start in the Western Conference with the Clippers getting a little bit more rest than Utah in this one. That's why I think the Clippers will be able to win in game 1 on the road, but then I think Utah will be able to bounce back in game 5 and game 2. Moving on, Clippers, I think, win game 3, so Utah, Donovan Mitchell, and the Jazz will be able to bounce back, even out those 2 records. And then moving on to the next game 5, I'm going to go with Utah. So Utah, I think, has a 3-2 lead at this point and a chance to beat out the Clippers with a win on the road. I don't think it happens, so I think this is a game 7 bound series. Will this be a blown lead by Utah? No. But, I mean, in this game, we look at the Jazz. Playoff, series have been an issue for them over the past few years. I think that they lose in game 7 to the Los Angeles Clippers for the Clippers to punch their ticket to the finals. Utah, I mean, they're just a very solid team, especially in the regular season. But I think the Clippers ultimately win right there to move on to the finals. And then moving on to Brooklyn against Milwaukee. What a series. Game 1. Going to Brooklyn, they have a little bit more rest, plus at home. Milwaukee, Giannis will be able to bounce back, and I think that they go on a 2-game winning streak and a 3-game winning streak. So this is going to be a 3-1 series lead for Milwaukee in 3 games in a row. So Milwaukee can completely end this series, punch their ticket to the finals to play the Clippers. It's not going to happen quite yet, though. I think Brooklyn wins game 5. KD leads them to win that game. Game 6, KD leads them to win that game. So now, yes, I think that Brooklyn comes back down 3-1 to force a game 7. Now the game of the year. Brooklyn, the momentum's on their side. They're at home. KD easily could have beat the Bucks last year. The Nets could have easily beat the Bucks. I think it happened. So Brooklyn comes down 3-1, beats the Bucks, and moves on to the next round. So to the finals. So Brooklyn against the Clippers. What a series this would be. Who do I think's gonna win? That'll be a tough call. Do I think Brooklyn will win this and with their their championship hopes, or will the Clippers with Kawhi be able to lead their team? I think Brooklyn wins in game 1 first of all. If it'll load. And again, we're going to have this page unresponsive. But yeah. But Brooklyn, both these teams are going into game 7s. Sorry about this, guys. I don't know why this page is so unresponsive right now. Playoff predictions. So yeah, just check out Player Predictors. They have a good website. Video cut there, but I think the page is responsive. Yeah. Okay. So Brooklyn, I think, takes game 1. Game 2, I think Brooklyn takes. So taking a 2-0 lead right now. What'll happen next? So the Clippers have known to come back. This is a whole new beast, though. So I think the Clippers, though, Kawhi, able to bring this team to a game 3 win and a game 4 win to even out this series. Brooklyn, though, at home, game 5, I think we'll be able to win. So can the Clippers come back down 3-2 again like they did against Utah? No, I don't think it happens. So I think Brooklyn wins the championship over the Clippers 4-2 to punch their ticket. So anyway, this is the whole bracket. As you can see, my predictions. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching this video today. Have fun. Do